This
in terms of
conference will now be recorded.
Sorry, Neo.
yeah, yeah. I mean, I know that it's also based on the on the same principles of Ethereum, correct? It's also based on the smart contracts, all those principles. So I mean, I sometimes I read it as like NEO has a little bit more. I mean to say functionalities or whatever compared to Ethereum. So I mean, how do you see that? I mean, which is better, Ethereum or NEO in terms of technology perspective?
So these things keep on happening. So they're like new technologies will come in and they say that I have this functionality, that functionality. But then here the thing is that how much developer community do we have? How much of documentation do we have? How easy is it to implement some application on top of a blockchain? So at present moment, Ethereum since being 2014 and being the first mover has a lot of advantage. It has a great developer community. Like let's say let's say that today you can go into Google and search for errors, and you can also learn about how to implement smart contracts properly onto the Ethereum blockchain. You have a well documented, the Node.js SDKs, and even the Solidity has been well documented, and you can get support from a lot of places. And Ethereum community in itself is only very aggressive, and they keep updating very quickly, and then so these things make Ethereum stand apart from other blockchains, even though they are better. See, it's not that every time a better technology wins. It's about the adoption. So adoption is more for Ethereum, and Ethereum is also aggressive. It's not like they have developed something and they have left it. Every time they keep upgrading. So Neo, as it is at this present moment, I don't see any adoption about it. I don't see people putting in contracts on top of Neo. So I cannot comment on it how the future would be, you know. But I would say that Ethereum is going to be a winner.
Okay, thanks.
Yeah.
And on top of it, I mean, I have seen that Ethereum has two programming languages. One is Serenity and Solidity.
Now Serenity is an update. Serenity is a version of it. Serenity is a version. It's not a reserve. It's not the
Okay.
programming.
Okay, is it a version of Solidity or?
No, get so Ethereum version. So Ethereum, upgrades itself. So first upgrade was Metropolis, and after that you had some other upgrades. I don't remember it right now. So there are
Mhm.
upgrades. Serenity is an upgrade which they are thinking wherein they are going to put in proof of stake as well as the sharding and all, so that the scaling increases, the amount of transactions that is being processed increases. This will happen in the next 2 3 years.
Okay,
Yeah, but
thanks.
then there is one programming language which is going to come in. That's its name is Viper, and it is
Okay,
built on Python. Okay, so it might come in next 2 years. So Solidity also will be there. Viper will also be there.
okay, thanks.
Yeah. So I think I can carry on. And no more questions, right? Any more questions? Yeah. So yesterday we had spoken about, we came in from the blockchain, what blockchain was, we understood about what blockchain was, then we came into the cryptography, please mute yourself. Okay. Yeah, so then we came into the cryptography, how we actually choose a cryptographic function. Then from there, we actually came into how addresses are formed. Can anyone tell me what is the first address that is actually, when I'm generating an address, what is the flow? Can anyone tell me in brief? Any one of you, quickly. How do we generate addresses in Ethereum? Come on, guys, it's very easy.
First private key gets generated, and based on that private key, then a public key gets generated, which is the
Uh,
address.
correct. So private key, public key. Okay, so we came from private key, public key. From private key, public key, I think we came to stale blocks, uncle blocks, and all these things. From there on, we moved to, we started transferring ethers in the Ropster network, and everyone were able to transfer. And then we also checked it in the Explorer, that is the Ether scan, wherein our transactions are actually visual. We can see whether it is success or a failure. We saw it there. So now we are coming into more technical part. Now we are going to understand how the network is set up. So always understand that in the so make an to make an analogy as such, in the present world as we have servers, just think that blockchain is a server. Okay, and then there are certain ways that we set up the server or become a part of the server. This is a decentralized server, so anyone can be a part of it. So, but then, yeah, so we'll be basically looking into that today. We'll try to install and then we'll go through all those things today. But before that, we need to understand some small things as such. So today we're going to, the first topic would be Ethers, EVM and gas. Ethers is the value token in the Ethereum blockchain. EVM is nothing but Ethereum virtual machine. It's like the engine which actually runs the code that you write. It's like Java, we have Java virtual machine, which understands the bytecode. In the same way, Ethereum virtual machine is also a virtual machine, which is like the engine which runs the code that we write. And there's another thing called as gas. We'll explore all these things. So the first point, Ether, it is a value token in the Ethereum blockchain. So what do we mean by that? Like in Bitcoin blockchain, we have a value token called as Bitcoin. In the same way, in Ethereum, we have Ether as the value token. Can anyone of you quickly tell me what is the smallest value of Ether? What is the smallest value of Ether? Anyone of you quickly?
1 ETH.
No, one ETH is there, but then what is the smallest value of it? Like $100, 1 cent, $1.
One second.
Oh, 10. I think 10 power of. I think one tenth power of 9 or something, 18 or something.
1 in
18.
10 to the power of 18. Yeah, what is that called? What is that called?
Shitoki.
Satoshi. Satoshi is Satoshi. It's not Satoki. It's Satoshi. Satoshi is for Bitcoin. For Ethereum,
Is that Etho?
starts with W. Huh? Huh? Ithoki. What did you say? Yeah,
Uh,
guys.
it's named
So
after
it's called.
Russian guy, right?
It's
Yeah.
Is there a
V. Correct.
V or something?
Exactly. Srini and Raja. Thank you. Yeah, it's V. It's called WEIV. That is 1 into 10 to the power of 18 V. 1 ether is equal to 1 into 10 to the power of 18. Keep a note of it. Then the next one, which is EVM. EVM is called as Ethereum virtual machine. Ethereum virtual machine is like Java. Like in Java, we have Java virtual machine, right? In the same way, in Ether or in Ethereum, in the Ethereum blockchain also, every node will be having its own EVM. When you are becoming a node, it is nothing but you are actually installing an Ethereum virtual machine. Okay, Ethereum virtual machine is nothing but Java virtual machine, which actually runs the code. Okay, so what is the process basically is that we write a human readable code. We as developers we write human readable code, but when we compile it, it converts into a machine readable code, right? So the whole contract, or like let's say we write a Java class. The Java class, when I compile it, converts into a machine level code where machine can understand. 1 minute. Raja has a question. Harsh, question is so I think Raja is asking that Harsha a question. Is EVM platform independent like JVM? Platform independent. I didn't get the question actually. What does it mean by that? Yeah, it's platform independent. Yeah, any OS can run this. Yeah. Any OS can run this. Yes, it is platform independent. Yeah. So right. So now we write the code. So once we write the code, we compile it. After compiling, we get the bytecode. Okay, and this bytecode is put onto the blockchain. So blockchain understands the bytecode, and blockchain has the Ethereum virtual machine. So Ethereum virtual machine actually runs the code for us. Okay, so that's why just keep in mind that Ethereum virtual machine is like the engine which runs the code. Then Ethereum virtual machine is basically largely divided into three different areas. It has three different the whole Ethereum virtual machine is is divided into three different parts. The first one is called as memory area, second one is called as stacks, and the third part is called as execution engine. So memory area is nothing but you can say runtime memory, okay? And then sorry, the memory area is nothing but the permanent memory that we have, and the second one is stacks is nothing but your runtime memory, and the third one is the execution engine, which actually understands the bytecode and gives you the results. Okay, so EVM is actually divided into three different parts, that is memory area, stacks, and execution engine. Now moving on to the next topic. So the third one is gas. Okay, just pay attention to this. This gas is a very important concept that you need to understand if you want to understand Ethereum, how Ethereum works. So just understand that when I'm basically using a cloud service, when I'm trying to put my application on a cloud, I basically buy something from AWS or from Azure, right? I pay some money, I take the data space or whatever it is, I pay for it. So in the same way here, when we are migrating our code onto the blockchain, our code is run by multiple nodes. That is the server, right? The server is, so the server is nothing but the blockchain here. So here also there is a form of payment. Here pay on go basis. Here it is not like one time you pay it and you take it. Here it is pay on go basis. Okay, and the payment depends on a term called as gas. Okay, so to better understand this, I would say that let's say that I need to go from Bangalore to Chennai, right? So Bangalore to Chennai is around about 300 kilometers. Okay, let's say that it's totally 300 kilometers. I'm taking my car. Let's say the mileage of the car is 20 kilometers on a highway. Let's say it's 20 kilometers. So how much petrol should I fill? I should be filling technically, if I'm going 20 is my this thing, I need to be filling 15 liters of petrol, right? I need to be filling 15 liters of petrol to travel from Bangalore to Chennai. Okay, so if I put less than 15 liters, I won't be reaching Chennai. If I put more than 15 liters, I'll obviously be reaching Chennai, and the remaining petrol sits in my car, right? In the same way, here also in Ethereum, gas is nothing but it is a measure of EVM resource usage. So EVM is nothing but Ethereum virtual machine resource usage. That is, when I'm putting in a bytecode, when I'm putting in my bytecode and doing certain computation, I'm actually using the resources of the EVM. EVM here is nothing but the blockchain. So I'm actually using the resources of the blockchain, right? So I need to pay for it. Okay. The price per gas. So the resource usage, the amount of resource used internally is calculated in the form of gas. Okay. Like for traveling. So for traveling 1 minute. So for traveling from Bangalore to Chennai, I had to put in 15 liters of petrol, right? In the same way, here also there is analogous to the petrol. Let's say we have gas here. Okay, so the price per gas is actually set in V. Okay, let's say that I have a contract. Okay, in that contract I have a addition operation as well as the multiplication operation. Okay, now uh, so basically, Ethereum virtual machine has predefined gas for every operation. Okay, for every operation, a predefined gas is there. So let's say in my contract, in my class Java class, or let's say in my contract, I have written one addition and one. I'm doing one addition. I'm doing one subtraction. Okay. Let's say that the amount of gas required to do an addition is 200, and let's say that amount of gas required to do a multiplication is 150. Okay, and then the gas price is basically set by the miners. That is, the nodes set the gas price, and that gas price is set in V's per gas. Like I have, let's say, rupees per liter. Okay, dollars per liter. Let's say $1 per liter. We have $1. Let's say that 1 liter of petrol is $1 per liter. Here also we have one gas is equal to amount of V per gas, like amount of rupees per liter, amount of dollars per liter. Here we have amount of V per gas, because V is the currency, right? In the Ethereum world, V is the currency. Okay, Ether is like the standard thing, but then we actually take the currency in V's. Okay, V is the currency. In India, rupees is the currency. America, dollars is the currency. In the same way, in Ethereum world, V is the currency. Now, how is the transaction fee calculated for every transaction is, gas per addition was actually 200. The gas price was set depending upon the demand, depending upon the amount of users. The gas price is set to 30. At that point, let's say 30 was the gas price. 200 into 30 becomes 6,000 V. And for multiplication, it was 150 gas into 30 becomes 4,500 V. So the total will be 10,500 V I need to pay. That is, I need to attach with my execution. I need to attach 4,500 V, 10,500 V to get the execution done. Okay. So any questions here? Like, if you have any questions, please ask me.
So the gas price would be dynamic, is it, based on the nodes?
Correct. Correct. Gas would be constant. Gas price would be dynamic depending upon the demand in the network. Like if more transactions are coming in, they increase the gas price.
Oh, it's the other way around, is it? Okay.
Yeah, but then there is also one thing that gas, you need to pay gas only if you are changing the state. Let's say that you are changing the value of a variable and storing it. At that point only you need to pay it. For example, if I'm reading from if you are reading from the blockchain, you do not have to pay any money. Even
Right.
if a computation does not change any value, does not change any. If you're doing just addition and are not storing that in the blockchain, you need not have to pay anything. Only for storing you need to pay.
Right. So the storing happens when you're actually doing a transaction, right?
Yeah, correct.
Uh-huh.
Even this one, even you say, even when you're, let's say you're doing a computation also, it's a transaction, but you do not have to pay a fee for it. Like if
What
you're
do you-
not storing anything to the blockchain.
Right. I mean, when I say the transaction is a real life transaction, for example, either I'm selling or buying or something within the blockchain, then I would have to pay gas price, correct?
Correct, correct, correct.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. For a read-only purposes, I understand. We don't have to.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So,
Okay.
but then you have to pay the transaction fee. Okay, gas into gas price becomes transaction fee. Like 20 liters into $1 becomes $20, right?
Right.
So 20 liters per liter $1. Let's say I don't know what is the cost for 1 liter. Let's say it is $1. One for 1 liter it is $1. For 20 liters you pay $20. Here also the and this is gas. This is V per gas, right? So 200 into 30 becomes 6,000. With this comes into some cents. The whole
Right.
transaction would take only certain cents.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, yeah,
Okay.
yeah. Any more questions about this? I think this
Yes,
would be a bit
Harsha,
confusing. Yeah.
yeah, the question. Suppose if you take a real-time scenario, sending money from point A to point B, that means there is a subtraction from one account and addition to another account. That means that's going to be one subtraction on one addition
No,
account to
no,
have.
no. It's what wouldn't be. See, transfer is different. Yeah. Transfer is just transfer of value. That's a different, what do we say, process altogether. And that every transaction if you're sending money, that transaction fee is that is different. This is for the execution of a command. Sending of money and all doesn't come under, it doesn't come under. It is also a command, you can say. But then addition and subtraction don't fit in there because in the background, changing of the values happens in a different way. So don't put addition subtraction here. I don't think so. You should put addition subtraction is happening here. I'm telling, like, let's say you have written a class where I pass two variables and I do addition and I want an output. Or let's say I do a subtraction and I want an output. So this is a simple thing which I'm saying. Tomorrow you can do multiplication or you can do many complex tasks. So I'm speaking in that aspect. Transaction is a different thing altogether. Sending money, sending value is a different thing. Their addition subtraction, don't put this thing there.
But Raj, I think Surya got a valid point. Yesterday, when we were doing the transfer of money, I remember noticing both transaction fee as well as the gas fee as well.
Gas fee, yeah, that's what I'm saying. So, yeah, that's what I'm saying, Srini. Like when you are actually transferring value, then also fee. Okay, the gas price is always there. But addition and subtraction, I'm telling the mathematical addition and subtraction in a particular contract. I'm
Okay.
talking in that terms. So let's say in a contract, I have a mathematical addition, mathematical multiplication.
I
See,
got you.
transferring. So yeah, so the transferring is there, right? We need not have to do plus minus in our contract in the balances. Okay, it automatically happens. So that's why I was saying that the gas price is obviously there in everything. When you do transaction, when you're transferring value, transaction fee is there. And here also, when I'm doing addition and multiplication, mathematical addition multiplication within a contract, for that also I need to pay a transaction fee.
Okay, so basically you define setup operations and corresponding gas price for each one of those.
Correct.
And depending on the type of transaction you perform and nature of operations that are under the transaction, you would get charged for that gas fee. Okay.
Correct. Yeah. So, like, did I answer the question, Raj?
Yes, yes.
Okay. So basically the gas calculation, let's go to the next thing. Gas calculation depends upon the instruction set and the storage. Okay, these are the two different things. Okay, gas calculation depends on the instruction set as well as the storage. Let's say that I have a function, and within that function I have a addition and a mathematical addition, mathematical, multiplication. So here what happens is the total gas used, the transaction fee that I will be paying will be equal to the gas used. The gas used is 350. Okay, 350, and let's say the gas price at that particular point was 30. I multiply that, and that amount of V I attach it to my transaction. Okay, these all actually we have wrappers for it. We need not have to code all these. We have wrappers for it. It automatically attaches the transaction fee. Just that we just need to have the balance in our account. Okay. And then what is the process basically? There is something here. The process is that for processing a transaction, how this actually works is, when a transaction, for processing a transaction, the initiator has to set a start gas, and the gas price is set by the miners. Okay, so start gas is, I need to tell that how much gas I'm ready to spend. Yesterday, Srini, you remember, like, you wanted fast or slow, or there were three different options. You could select which gas you want to, how much gas you want to spend, right?
Right.
So
Yeah.
the start,
Something by
yeah. So like,
default, the middle one we were doing. Yeah.
yeah. So let's say that you did the lower one. Let's say that you had given the lowest gas. What happens is that your transaction would be placed after the person who has paid more gas price, who is actually ready to pay more gas. So
Oh, okay.
the person who will be paying more will be put on the transaction list first. Then we will be put after that. Okay.
Okay.
So you can see the three options we had: fast, medium, and slow. I think these three were the options. If you
Correct.
wanted fast, you can pay the highest gas price. So the transaction fee would be higher, and your particular, what do we say, your transaction will be placed on top of the block.
Okay. So the intensive is, yeah, your transaction can be performed much quicker
Quicker.
rather than the
Correct.
others. And the
Correct.
second thing is you have higher probability of mining.
Higher probability of
Mining.
no
You will
mining.
be,
No,
because
mining is
your
done by the
block is at
nodes.
the top.
Sorry.
Right. But since you're done already with your transaction, right, then
Uh-huh.
you will get to see whether you can match the numbers before anybody else can match for mining, right?
No, see, basically at this point, we are just a user of the network. I'm not maintaining the database. So I am actually not
Oh,
maintaining all the database of all the transactions. I'm just putting a transaction into the blockchain. You are understanding? And I'm paying the blockchain. I'm paying the people who are actually maintaining the databases.
oh, okay. So the the incentive is only for those guys who are maintaining the database, not
Correct.
for the
Yes.
transacting people. Gotcha.
No, no, no.
Okay.
Yeah, so there is a start gas which is set by the initiator. Then second thing, whatever if the fee paid, let's say that total gas required was, let's say, total V, the amount of transaction what was needed was, let's say, 10,000. Okay, let's say my total transaction was, so as in this case, let's say that the total was 10,500 V, right? So let's say that I have attached 11,000 V with my, let's say I'm ready to pay 11,000. I just put 11,000 V. Then what happens is that if the fee paid is more than the transaction fee, then the extra gas is returned back to the initiator. Okay. So here I had attached 11,000 V, but the total transaction cost was 10,500 V. Okay. So what happens is the remaining 500 V will be debited back to my account. Okay. It won't be sent directly to the miner. That will be sent back to me if I attach a more fee. But if the start gas is less than the gas used in the transaction, I think this one might not be visible to you. Yeah, so let's see the third point. If the start gas, if the amount of transaction fee I have specified is less than 10,500, let's say 10,500 was the minimum amount that was required for my transaction to go through. If I have paid only 10,000, what happens is that first of all, that 10,000 will be lost, and the execution will not be performed, and all the execution that was done will be reverted back to its previous state. Okay, if the start gas is less than the gas used in the transaction, then all the gas is lost, which was set by the initiator, and all the changes made are reverted back to its original state. Okay, so always make sure that you pay more than it is required. Anyhow, the remaining gas will be returned back to you. Okay, if any questions, please ask at this point. I think this would be a bit confusing.
Gas last means who get the gas? The miners get the gas,
Yes, 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 yes.
so that's a free money for them.
No, it's not free money. They have done. So what happens is that I initiated a transaction. Okay, let's say that in that initiation, addition or multiplication both are there in that one command. Okay, in that one function, I have given addition subtraction. Okay, miners will not know that you have given correct price or not. They'll start executing. They'll do addition. Okay, the price was there. Okay, addition is completed. But subtraction, when they come to multiplication, what happens is that the gas is not there. So that execution doesn't go through. So their resource is anyhow being used. Correct. It's not free money for them. Their resource is anyhow being used. It's neither loss nor profit for them.
Okay, gotcha.
Huh? Hello?
I understand.
You understand, right? So the
Yes,
execution
yes,
is good.
yes.
Yeah. Any more questions, please? Because this is a very important concept. The gas. Any one of you? I think all good. So I'll move forward.
Uh,
Yeah. So
uh,
yeah, yeah, yeah.
yeah, Harsha, can you summarize the last slide? I mean to say, is the gas price that we are paying is different than what we are paying for the a transaction fee? Is it or is it the same? I mean to say, whatever we pay as part of this gas calculation, is it same as the transaction fee we pay when we do the transfer or whatever? I mean, I'm a little confused here because when we talk about a smart contract, or when we talk about the transaction fee when we did the Bitcoin transactions, let us assume we did a transfer from one user to other user yesterday. We paid certain gas price there. Is it
Correct,
same
correct.
because of this calculation, or is it different fee that
Same,
we paid?
same. So in Bitcoin, basically, we don't have a concept of gas. Okay, they're only direct Satoshi. Directly, some transaction fee will be there, and we have to pay that. Okay,
Okay.
and the transaction fee will be directly set by the miner. They can say that you pay me 20 Satoshi, 30 Satoshi, 40 Satoshi, whatever it is.
Mhm.
Okay, they'll say that. But here it is not like that. Here,
Okay.
miners only set the gas price. That's it. So for a
Okay.
transaction, if you want to send a value to someone also, there is a gas price to it, and the gas is also constant. I don't remember, but somewhere around 1,500, I guess, for doing a transaction. Okay,
Mhm.
and into the gas price that will become the transaction fee.
Okay. Yeah, that means like
Yeah,
whatever the gas that we have calculated, the 10,500 is what we paid yesterday when you transferred me zero point 0.5 ether to me. Is it the same, or
huh,
yeah, when
huh,
you did a transaction yesterday to me, you transferred 0.5 ether to my wallet address, right? So and
correct,
you
correct,
paid a little bit of gas price there. Is
correct,
it
correct.
because of this calculation just we discussed, or
Exactly, exactly, exactly. Same calculation. Exactly
okay,
same calculation.
I
Okay.
got it.
Yeah. Thank you. We'll go to the next topic. The next topic is basically Ethereum networks. So I think you people all are in IT field, so you know that we have different environments. Like let's say we have a development environment, we have testing environment, and so on and so forth. So in the same way here, Ethereum also has actually defined different networks for different purposes. And it has also given a network ID, and this is constant all over the world. Whenever you give this ID, you actually connect to this particular network, and you cannot use it in your. So whenever you are by default, whenever you become a node or an instance, whenever you become a node, you will by default connect to the live network. But in the same way, you can also connect to the test network. So there are different network IDs for it. So the first one is live network. In the live network, the network ID is one. Okay. And there are certain test networks which were developed. First one was modern. Its network ID was two, but it has been retired. Now it is no more in existence. It's not being used. Then Robston, if you remember, yesterday we had used this network only to send money, but initially we had certain issues. The first link which I sent was for Robston only. Okay, and the second link was also for option only, but somehow it was not working, but for some people it worked. So we were using this network, and its network ID is 3. Okay, this is global. Whenever you give this network ID and try to connect, you connect to the Robston. And Rinkabai, who is the last one, some people did it in Rinkabai also. Some people were able to use it, the Rinkabai faucet. And then here the network ID is 4. So, yeah, so these are the 4 different things. The modern has already been retired. Okay. And here a simple, depiction of how basically it is done. We write a smart contract. The code is there. Okay, we compile the code. The bytecode is put onto the blockchain. Okay, this is a blockchain, nothing but Ethereum virtual machine. I'm putting the bytecode here, and once the contract is here, externally, let's say I have a function, addition function within this bytecode. Within the smart contract, I had actually written an addition function. Let's say I'll be calling that addition function from externally by using an API. This is an overall flow about which we'll be learning more in the future. Okay, so this is the just a depiction, and then we come to the blockchain explorers. So if you remember yesterday when I did a transaction, in the option or Rinkabai, I was going to a place where it was showing nouns and it was showing many things, the transaction fee, from whom to whom, was it a success, and all these things were being shown, right? So that is nothing but a blockchain explorer. So blockchain explorer is nothing but it's a web application that keeps track of all the blocks in a blockchain. Okay, you can straight away track from the first block to the present block, the latest block. Okay, so it is a web application. And then the second one is they show the information of transactions, blocks, and accounts. So any account, if you create an account in MetaMask, whatever account you have, you can just copy that account. You can put it into the blockchain explorer and check it, and you can see that there will be an in and out. So for the first one, the blockchain explorer for the live network, that is the what do we say production environment. For that is etherscan.io. And for the test network is testnet.etherscan.io. This is nothing but Ropsten. Okay, testnet.etherscan.io will redirect it to the blockchain explorer for Ropsten network. That is a test network. And etherscan.io will be the blockchain explorer for the production environment. That is the live network. And then so I'll just quickly show you one thing. I'll just go here. In the meanwhile, even if you want, you can check it out. You can just go. You can just copy your address. So I'm just copying my address. I'm going to Ropsten testnet dot. I go here and I'm pasting my address. So whenever you are also doing a transaction, whenever you're sending ethers or something like that in the future, you can do it like this. So so if you can see, the one transaction had happened in, one ether had come in, which had actually requested from the faucet. So when I put this address here, I can see all the transactions that had happened. So the one ether which was coming in, and 0.5 ether I had sent it to, I guess, Srini or someone. I guess this is the Srini's address, 0xe75. Yeah, this was Srini's address. So the whole thing you can come here and see, and which block it was included is also there, and there is a transaction hash, and from whom to whom it is going. And the transaction fee here, as you were asking, Surya, the transaction fee here is 0.000021V. Okay, so this was a transaction fee I had paid. And I think you people can also check, and you can check your addresses once.
A quick question, Harsha. I mean, why the transaction fee is less when you got them incoming? Why there is a transaction fee there? I mean, is it like normally it has to be to the initiator, correct? I mean to say.
Yeah, I'm not. I did not pay for incoming. I did not pay. He paid.
I saw a few. There was a very minute transaction fee in your incoming transaction.
Yeah. So this was not mine. This is what he had paid in. No, this is what this address had paid actually.
Okay.
This address paid this. I did not pay this. For incoming, I did not have to pay.
Okay, and why? I mean to say, is it like you said, like it's by gas and gas price, right? The second time when you transferred it out, you transferred only 0.5 ether, and it looks like we paid a lot of transaction fee there. It's like more than what the one ether transferred transaction fees.
I think I selected a higher this thing. So
Okay.
when you are sending ether here, you can select where you want to be placed in the block. You want to be placed in an instant block, or you want to be placed in a it's fine if it takes some time for the transaction to go through. In that I had actually selected fast, I guess, so it takes more transaction fee. So that is the reason why I was actually paying more. So here it is 0.0042 I have paid, and then I think he has paid less. He has paid less, so it differs. You can choose how much transaction fee you want to pay. He paid half of mine. I paid the double of his. Right, that's what you're asking, right? The transaction fee is more than I'm sending. So I chose it when I was doing the transaction. When I was doing the Here, if you remember, it comes here. I'll just show you. I'm send. Let's say some address. Let's take this address only. See, you see here. There is this one. See, 0.001. 0.00042th, 0.0044th. So these were the options given. I selected this and I sent. And maybe he sent it in a lower rate from there.
Yeah, got it. Sure, thanks.
Yeah. So I think you people can also check your address once. You can go in and check whether the transactions were the same when you did it.
Yeah, we could see that in activity log, I guess, and also the
Where
details.
here in MetaMask?
In Yeah, if you log into MetaMask and you scroll down a little bit, you can see in the activity log as well as to what transactions that you have done yesterday.
Yeah, you can do this also, but I was asking where is see it on the Etherscan. On the Etherscan, you will be getting the block number, the transaction hash, and all these things.
Correct.
Yeah, so
Yeah, one interesting thing though, yesterday I think we had block height was
yes,
10 and 1 or something. Today I see it's 7,068. So the block, or
it has
it says block
it has
confirmation.
increased.
Okay, so it gets increased, looks like.
Yes, because the blocks are mining now. Even when we sleep, even when we are working, even when we are not using the Ethereum network,
Right.
some other person would be using it, and the blocks are increasing.
Okay. Yeah, I thought actually it's a successor block. So that means anybody who does transact would have a incremental number. But apparently it looks like even the ones which were done before, the block height is increasing as well. So I don't know how the logic works, but you see what I mean?
Sorry,
Usually if
sorry.
you're
Can you
done,
come again? Can you come again? I didn't understand.
okay, let's say if yesterday I have done a transaction and my block height was 10,
Okay.
my expectation is anybody who does transaction after me would have either 11, 12, 13, 14 in ascending order.
Correct, correct, correct. True, true, true.
However, but my block height is moved from 10 to 7,068. So I don't know how the logic works, right? Apparently, because I was the one who did this earlier,
Correct, correct.
got a 10, I
So
wouldn't
it
be
was 10.
expecting my block height
I think
increase.
your position was 10, not block height. I think the
Oh,
position was 10. If you remember, I think position was 10.
was it? Okay, let
Yeah,
me,
yeah.
yeah, I think you're probably right. Let me scroll a bit and see where the position is right now. Block height.
You can just open the transactions.
Yeah, I'm there, but I don't see the position now. It says block height, timestamp, from to value, gas limit used by, gas price, actual cost.
Nouns and position.
Nonce and position, now it shows 0 and 12. Sorry, 2.
Yeah.
I
So,
remember
so second
yesterday it was 10.
position was second. I don't think so. That would have been the case. I'm thinking a bit of confusion is there. It
Right.
wouldn't be 10 actually. The block number wouldn't have been 10.
Okay.
Uh, 10 has gone by long back. So now
Okay.
even if course has started before that only that would have gone by.
Okay, that's
But I
fine.
think we're getting a bit confused, I guess. Like
No,
something.
no worries. Yeah, probably. That was an oversight. I'm just wondering if it is in ascending, then I can get it. Okay, move on.
Yeah, it'll always be in ascending. Yeah.
Okay, that makes sense. Thanks.
Now I'll come back to the course. Now, so yeah, so now that we understood all these things, there are certain things again we need to understand, that is proof of work, proof of stake, and proof of authority, like how this consensus is being formed, and there are different algorithms that we follow to to reach consensus. So in Bitcoin and Ethereum presently, the what do we say, the consensus mechanism that is being used is called as proof of work. So what happens in proof of work is that see what I told, that when I'm finding a nonce in a block, let's say that I have a block of data, I'm finding a nonce. Okay, so when I'm finding that nonce, I'm actually expending my processing power. Okay, I'm using the processing power of my laptop to guess the random number, the puzzle that has been thrown to me by the blockchain network. That random puzzle will be guessed by my system, correct? So it uses a processing power. So processing power, how does processor work? It works on electricity, correct? So here certain work is being done by my processor to find that nonce, right? Certain amount of energy is being spent, and electricity is also produced when certain work is done, correct? So in proof of work, what happens is that the amount energy is being spent, real electricity is being spent, and all these things happen, This is called as proof of work. In proof of work, generally energy is spent. Okay, like physical energy, real energy is spent. But in proof of stake, what happens is that in proof of stake, the simulation of proof of work is done. Like for example, let's say that we have 100 ethers. Srini has 40 ethers. Okay, if Srini has 40 ethers, that will be equivalent to, let's say, that will be equivalent to let's say that will be equivalent to 40 units of electrical power. Let's say 40 ethers is equal to 40 units of electrical power. Now this is basically a simulation, right? Simulation as in, like, the more amount I am ready to lock, like the more amount I show, the more electricity I have. Okay, this is the concept of proof of stake. In proof of stake, no energy, no processing power is actually expended. A simulation is done depending upon the amount of ethers you have staked over there. Okay. So are you understanding? So it's a simulation of the electricity. So amount of ethers you have is equivalent to the amount of electrical energy or the processing power you have. So that is called as proof of stake. In proof of stake, no processing power is actually expended. Okay. Any questions here?
So it's
Hello?
basically this, yeah, it's basically to show how powerful you are in the network.
Yeah. Correct.
Uh-huh.
Correct. Correct. Yeah. So the more powerful you are, the more chances of you to mine the block. Correct. So in proof of stake, what happens is that there is no spending of electricity here, only the amount of ethers you stake or locking up. So in proof of stake, what happens is you lock certain funds into an account, and then that shows that you have this much energy, and your probability of finding the nonce increases in that algorithm. Okay, so that is proof of stake. In proof of authority is basically used in private blockchains, wherein we don't want all the nodes to make decisions. All the nodes to validate each and every transaction, or we don't want every node to what do we say? Every node to validate, or let's say that we have only one validator. Okay, there is only one validator, central authority, which will be creating blocks and will be adding transactions to those blocks. That is called as proof of authority. In proof of authority, there is only one person who will be creating the blocks. Okay, who will actually be finding the nonce. There is no concept of finding the nonce over there. There, the block is basically the transactions will be added to the blocks only by a single party. In proof of work and proof of stake, this is basically for the public networks. Proof of authority is for the private network. Am I clear about this? Any questions you can ask me right now?
Okay. I think you probably explained already proof of work, the first one. Can you
Yes.
just repeat, please, just in one line, what it is?
Proof of stake, right?
No, POW, the first one.
Yeah, proof of work is nothing but if I'm spending my processing power to guess the nonce. Let's say that I have a block, and the blockchain throws me a puzzle that find this particular nonce, right? That nonce can be found by guessing. That guessing is done by my processor, right? So my processor is actually consuming electricity, and that means that certain work is being done by my processor to find it, right? So that is called as proof of work, where electricity is involved. Where electricity is involved, and processing power is involved, that is called as proof of work. So that's what I was telling. Like, proof of work means it is more energy intensive.
Gotcha. Okay.
Okay. Any more questions? Any one of you, Surya, Teja, or anyone? Do you have any questions? I'll move forward. Yeah.
What advantages one I don't know what exactly we call them, POW, POS, and these are all the different blockchain um,
Correct.
methodologies, or I don't know what we call, but what advantages one has on the other? I mean, why we have three different ones, and what advantages we have when you follow one other than the other? I mean to say, like all the cryptocurrencies, what methodology it follow, and why what applications they are building on POA or POW or POS. I mean, how
So
they are differing by themselves.
got your question. So now let's remove POA from the picture right now. POA is only for the private blockchains. So let's compare proof of work and proof of stake. So what happens? What is the difference here is that in proof of stake, proof of work is more secured as such because here energy is being involved, and then no one will be able to do an attack on the blockchain. That is very easily because there is so much of processing power involved, and then the people are also, so there are literally farms. Let's say for Bitcoin, which uses proof of work, there are farms of computing power. Like there are GPUs placed in an area of hundreds of acres, and then those are actually mining for that nonce. So this is the scale I'm speaking about. So when you actually implement proof of work, the blockchain becomes more secured, and and doing an attack on the blockchain is a bit difficult. Okay, but in the other way, what happens is that huge amount of energy is being spent. So the report had come out for 2018 that Bitcoin, if that would have been the country, that is the fourth most consuming electrical country as such. So the amount of electricity consumed by Bitcoin would be the fourth, would be listed as the fourth most consumed country. So the country which is consuming the most electricity. So electricity is being consumed, and then so these things are there, and along with that, what happens is that the transaction speed is also slow in proof of work, but security is too high. Security is too much. But in proof of stake, security is there, I would say, but then attacking this blockchain would be more easier than proof of work. Uh, but then the transaction fee is faster, no electricity is being spent. Uh, so these things are advantages in proof of stake, but the downside is that security is a bit low. So it's like you can't have everything in life, right? In the same way, there are three. We generally say that there are three different pillars. There are three things in blockchain. To just tell you. So one thing is, I think, security, decentralization, and scalability. Okay. When you take these three corners, you cannot have all these three things at a single go. Like this one is security, and so like when you look at blockchain, these are the most three important pillars of blockchain. One is security, decentralization, and scalability. So let's say in Ethereum, we have decentralization and security, but scalability is an issue. In Bitcoin also decentralization and security is there, but scalability is an issue. So when you go to proof of stake and all those things, there we have decentralization and scalability, but security is less. But in proof of work, decentralization and security is there, but scalability is not there. So everything has its own pros and cons. We cannot say which one is better than other. So that's why I've been mentioning that Bitcoin is like the digital gold because it's doing proof of work. Security is very high. Attacking and changing the Bitcoin balances is too tough. So that is the reason why people are looking up to it as an asset rather than a cryptocurrency, as rather than a currency. So I hope I answered your question, Surya.
Yeah, I got it. But what applications are there? I mean, can you name some which was built on proof of state, other than I mean, I know proof of work is like Bitcoin.
Neo is proof of stake, right?
Oh,
Neo
okay.
is proof of stake. Ethereum is moving to proof of stake. And let me tell you, mm, Tron is proof of work. I'll tell you, Surya, about it. Okay? I'll
Okay,
just
sure.
touch about it. I'll inform you which are under proof of stake and which are in proof of work. And I think you can yourself, check it out in Google.
Yeah, I'll explore that. Thanks.
Yeah, sure. So now I'm coming to get. So I before this, I just want to get into the notes. Yeah. So now, as I said, that this today's class will be mostly about the network, and right now we learned about how consensus is reached. What are the three different ways to reach consensus: proof of work, proof of stake, and proof of authority. These are three different ways to reach consensus, and all these things. I have also spoken about what are different networks that are existing within the Ethereum blockchain. That is live network, modern, Robston, Rinkabai with network IDs 1, 2, 3, 4 respectively, and I've spoken about that. Now we'll be understanding how we will become a node, how we generally connect to a network, and what software we need to use to become a part of the network, and even how we mine, how we can initiate a transaction. So for that, we need to understand, we need to actually install a tool, and then we also need to understand how to use the commands. Okay, so for this, we'll be using get. Okay, get is a multi-purpose command line tool. Get is the official Ethereum client written in Google's Go programming language. So get is basically, it's an official Ethereum client, client, right? Client is nothing but it's a piece of software or a hardware which uses the services provided by a server, or in our case, network, right? So let's say that I have a Facebook app in my mobile. The Facebook app is a client of Facebook, because whatever I'm doing here, it is hitting the server and getting the data out from there. So what is a piece of software? Is a piece of software or a hardware which uses the services provided by a server or network. Here our network is Ethereum blockchain, and Ethereum blockchain services can be used by us by using the get tool. So that is the reason why I say get is the official Ethereum client written in Google's Go programming language. Go is a programming language, maybe you might have heard of it. So the background of this particular tool, that is the get, this tool, which helps us use the services of the Ethereum blockchain, is the background is written in Go programming language. Okay, and there are actually three different clients right now. One is get, which is written in Golang. The second one is eth, which is written in C++, and the third one is Pyth app. Okay, and basically this is a Python client. This is written, the back is written, the background, the whole tool has been written in Python, and this also helps us in using the services of the Ethereum blockchain. Okay, and then I'm coming to the syntax. Any questions here, guys? Any questions as such? If you have any doubts, I'll make it clear right now. Hello.
Does all these clients connect to the Ethereum blockchain, or
Correct.
are we going to install one of the client in our laptops going forward? Is it?
Yeah, we'll be installing it. We're installing
Okay.
Yeah.
Got it. Thanks.
Yeah. So we'll be installing get as I think Srini has a question. Srini, do you have a question?
No, I think Surya asked probably the same question. Again, I'm not a programming guy to understand a lot of things, but I had the similar question what Surya had. I'm good.
Okay.
Thanks.
Nice. So now coming to the general syntax, I think if you have used any command line tools as such, so this is get is basically a CLI tool, as I have highlighted here, that get is a multi-purpose command line tool. Now general syntax is get, options, command options, and arguments. Okay. So we'll walk through one by one. So this will be the flow. First, you need to write get when you are actually trying to use get. First command that we need to use on the command line, let's say in the terminal, is get, and after that you write options. You give your options, then the command options, and then the arguments. We'll go through one by one. Okay. So get options are grouped together into categories as follows. First one is Ethereum options. Okay, these options are used to configure the get node. Okay, like configuring the get node as in like how I want to connect. Do I want to download the whole blockchain, or I just don't want to mine, and I just want to use certain services of the Ethereum blockchain. I just don't want to become a node and don't. So all those things can be configured by using Ethereum options. And then developer chain options is basically if you want to create a sandbox environment, and you have a single node and you want to test your code, and all those things comes under developer chain options. API and console options, let's say that I become a node, and then I want to use it through JavaScript by using JavaScript objects or something, because this is command line generally. But if you want to use it through a code, it has to be converted into JavaScript or something like that. So to use it from a JavaScript, we have API and console options which have to be exposed. Okay, then account options for unlocking, for how much time we have to keep our account unlocked. Which, let's say I'm doing mining, which account should get the mining rewards, and all those things can be done by the account options. And then logging and debugging options is how do I want to log whatever data is happening in the Ethereum blockchain, whether I want to do it, whether I want to catch the errors, whether I want to catch the warnings, and all these things can be done by these things. Lesser used options are miners, PF tuning, performance tuning, VM tuning, networking, gas, and transaction pool. So gas and transaction pool is nothing but where you actually set your gas price. And there are certain other miscellaneous commands such as version you can check, help. There are some help options wherein you can see all the options that are there. And yeah, so then we come to the commands. Now these options are done, then we come to the commands. Within that we have file management, like where we want to store. Let's say that I want to store my let's say that I want to store the whole blockchain in a certain directory. So that is file management. In the same way, along with that file management also includes the keys. Let's say the account that I created, the keys are also stored. That file management can be done. The blockchain database, the second one, the database can also be configured to be stored at certain place. Okay. In the same way, so on and so forth. There is again, after you write account option, you can also give certain commands, whether to create a new account or to unlock a new account comes under commands. Okay. And after that, you can synchronize to the Ethereum blockchain in three different ways. Okay. So synchronization. So I need not have to I need not have to become a full node, that is download the whole blockchain, to use the Ethereum services as such. I can also become, by default, I become a full node when I'm trying to connect to the Ethereum blockchain. By default, I'm a full node. So if the sync mode is full, what happens is it downloads the block header, block data, as well as the validation. That is, it checks whether the nonce is fitting or not. So it downloads all the blockchain data as well as it checks for each and every block whether the nonce is fitting or not. Then the next comes is fast mode. In the fast mode, what happens is that the block header and block data is downloaded, but the nonce is checked for the last 1K transactions, not more than that. Okay. And the third one is sync mode light. In this, what happens is only the current state is downloaded. That's it. From the present block will only be downloaded. Okay. So there are three different ways you can synchronize to the Ethereum blockchain. You do not have to become a full node every time. Any questions here, guys?
Yeah. Hi, Harsha, Surya here. Are we
Yeah,
going to do this on a live
yeah.
network or is it on a test network, on one of the
On
test
a test
networks?
network. We'll be doing in the test network. Yeah.
Okay. And because most of the content is, all the terminologies are a little new for most of the guys. So is it possible to give a little bit of more context going forward? I mean to say when we are discussing each
Sure,
one of
sure.
them.
We're
Yeah.
going to that. We're going to that. We're
Okay.
going to that.
Okay. Because all the terminology is very new. It's for me at least it's taking a little bit of time to digest that
Uh-huh.
information that we are going through.
Because the time is less, I need to go through these things quickly. So
Yeah.
anyhow, so if you can obviously ask me anytime. So yeah, whenever you're having an issue, you can ask me like, this please explain me this again, or like I'm not understanding these things. The thing is that these things gets more clear with practice. So how much ever we read this, or how much ever we know this, okay, Ethereum option does configures the node. Okay, I can tell this, but the thing is that the more understanding comes when you do hands-on rather than reading the things. You're getting me?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
But I mean, what my understanding, I mean to say, what my thought process is like, if this forms basis for our lab work that we are going to forward, then probably we may need to go through them a little bit slowly. But if I mean to say, if we can understand this slide once we do our practice or lab work, then I'm fine with the pace we are going currently.
Yeah, so but this will be the base for our lab work, and then I have the comments. When you execute the comments, you'll be understanding what is happening in the background. Okay.
Okay.
So, yeah. Okay. 1 minute. So where was I? Yeah, I was here. So these were the comments. So I said that we can synchronize to the blockchain in three different ways: full, fast, and light. Then once we come to the Ethereum options, in the Ethereum, so here I told that the first things that come under the get options is actually Ethereum options. So this Ethereum options, I'm going to give you some comments. These are certain comments. So where I want to put my, where I want to put my blockchain data can be done like this. To locate this one dash dash data there, when I write this command in my terminal, that is wherever, let's say you have created a project folder, and within that project folder, you open the command prompt, and from that command prompt, if you do dash dash data there, what happens is that it allows you to put the data in a certain folder. It creates a folder and puts the data there. Okay, then you need to just give the path. This command is to point to a location where the chain data can be written. Okay, so get dash dash data there and certain path that you have to give. Okay, the path wherever you can give some directory path where you want to store the blockchain. Dash dash key store to point to the location where the keys, public and private, are to be stored. So this should be a secured location. So obviously you would want it to put into some hidden file or something like that. You can also configure it that get dash dash key store and give a path to it. Okay. Then which network you want to connect to. So let's say that by default, as I said, that if you're not giving a network ID, you'll be connecting to the live network. But then if you want to connect to a particular network, what you do is get dash dash network ID and you give the ID. Okay. So by default, it is not 3, it is actually 1. By default, it is 1. Sorry, it was my mistake. So by default, it is actually 1. It connects to the live network. If you want to connect to the Ropsten, you do it 3. If you want to connect to Rinkaby, you put it as 4. Okay. And in sync mode, as I said, that you can synchronize to the blockchain in different ways. Either you can download all the blockchain, or you can only download the present state of it. So that would become get dash dash sync mode, full, fast, or light. Okay, by default it's a full mode. It will start downloading the whole blockchain, but you can also, it's better you do it in fast mode or light mode, because our systems are not capable to store that much of blockchain data or to mine. Okay, so we will not be mining at this present moment. We'll only be synchronizing in the fast or light mode. Okay, in the same way, we have logging and debugging options. When you write get dash dash verbosity, guys, this is the command that we are going to write there. About anyhow, I'll be sending the commands one by one to you. So we can set the verbosity, like in how do we want to listen to the actions that are happening in the Ethereum blockchain. Do you want to look it into an info mode? Do you want to see it in an error mode? Do you want to see it in a warning mode? You want to catch only the warnings? You want to catch only the errors? You can change the mode how you want to listen to the blockchain. So we have different, that is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. There are different numbers. By default, it is 3. 3 corresponds to the info mode. So, and then one corresponds to the error mode, about which I'll show you what each and every one will be corresponding to. Then comes to the accounts and mining options. So in the account commands, what we can do is when we write uh, get account new, it creates a new account. When I write get account list, it lists all the accounts that are created by me from my get instance. Okay, in the same way, I can also unlock an account by using dash dash unlock. Okay, so mining can be done by using dash dash mine and miner threads. Dash dash miner threads is nothing but the number of threads that I am uh, the number of threads I will of my processor that I will be giving for mining. So mining actually uses the processing power, right? So dash dash miner threads in dash dash miner threads, if I write 2, it allocates 2 threads of my processor for mining. By default, it takes 8 threads. Okay, I hope you understand what threads are. So those threads it will allocate. In the same way, I can set where my mining rewards need to go through. So where my mining rewards have to be sent to, that will be set by using dash dash ether base. Dash dash gas price can be set by me. I can put an extra data to every block which I want to add. Let's say that I want to add my name to the block which I mined. I can do it using extra data. So yeah, so this is much of it. This is just a theory part of it. Let's do practical. So but before that, I want you people to install get. I want you to install get download.
Harsha, all the commands or the syntaxes we went through, is it solidity syntaxes, or is it
Get, this is get. We have not yet started solidity. Solidity will become the next week.
okay?
This
Where does this get? I mean, it's the client, is it?
it's a
Get is the
client.
client. Okay.
Yes. So please go here. Please go to this link and download. The get for your OS. Did you all get the link?
Yeah.
Yeah. Please install it. So, guy, so I'll be taking a 15 minutes break now. You just install it, and then if you're using Windows, add it to the path. Add the get to the. It will get automatically added. You know, After then, once it gets installed, just check the version of it. Let me confirm.
It says two things. One is Get as well as it says development tools as well. Do we need to install development tools?
Yeah. Just install.
Both. Okay.
Yeah, you need to get a version like this. So when you do get version, you type this command get version. You need to get the version. Okay. So please install it. We'll meet in 15 minutes. The command is.
Okay.
This conference will now be recorded.
Venkat has got it. Surya, all of you, did you get the version? Were you able to get the version?
Yes, I got.
Great, Teja, great. Yeah. Rajeshekar also got. Yeah. Revan, Srikanth,
1.8.
Surya. Surya, did you get it?
I installed it, Harsha, but I mean, how to open that client? I mean, do we need to use any commands or?
No, just open any command prompt. Just open any command prompt. Just open a terminal and type get version.
Okay.
You can see my screen, right? Just type it anywhere.
Yeah. I'll try that.
Asha, how do I check whether it is installed correctly or not?
You just any terminal, you just go and search for CMD,
Okay.
open a command prompt
Yeah.
and write get space version. Get space version.
Okay.
It should not give an error.
Is this the stable version, Harsha, or is it like, I mean, I have seen that 1.8.20 is also available currently.
Yeah, but mine is an older version actually.
Okay, do we need to go to this version to make sure we'll be working, or
No,
is it fine if we can go to 20 also?
yeah, it's fine if you go to 20 also. If there is any issues, let's see. Because daily some updates come in, right? I can't keep up with it every time.
Yeah.
So
Okay. I
let's
got
see if there is one.
20 stable or something.
Yeah, everyone would be getting 20, I guess. Yeah, all of them got 20. I think everyone has installed, right? So Reval, Srikanth also are done. If everyone is done, if anyone is stuck, you can tell me. Okay, chalo. What we'll do first is that just create a, what do we say? Just create a folder called get in any one of your drives. Let's say C drive, D drive, anywhere. Just create one folder get and enter that folder. And open the command prompt from there. So like for me, I made a get folder within the E drive. So for me, it will be like this. For you people, it might be different. Whatever it is, it doesn't matter which folder you are in, but just create a folder called get.
Um, Yeah, I did create it. How do I get into the folder, Harsha?
Yeah, so like once you create the folder, just press on it, okay,
Uh-huh.
and then go here and write CMD and enter.
Oh, okay. That's easy. Okay, cool. Thank you.
So all of you are here, guys.
Okay.
Yes. Yes, Sasha.
Great, great. Yes. Okay, okay, okay. Rest. No one else. Teja, Venkat, Revant, Rajshekar, Raj, Nellur, Gangula.
Yeah, I got.
Okay. Okay, Srini is over. Rajshekar is over, I guess.
Yeah.
Surya, Teja.
Arsha, quick question. When I downloaded, right, that GetEdge, it says path not updated, original length 1334 to 2024. Is that okay?
So I
Error?
think we have to go. I think what you need to do is, Sitaram, you need to go to the environment variables, go to the environment variables and add the get path. So what happens is, do you know how to add a path?
Yeah.
Yeah, so what
Got
you
it.
need to do is go to your C drive. You can see in program files there is get. Okay, so
Uh-huh.
copy this, Control C this, and create a variable get in the environment variable and paste this path and restart the system.
Oh, restart the system.
Yeah,
Okay.
yours is Windows, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, so if it is Windows, you need to do this. You need to copy this path, go to the environment variables, create a variable called get, paste this as its value, okay, and then restart the system.
So without that
Um,
restarting, I cannot run the
I
program,
don't
I
think
guess,
so.
right?
I don't think so it will work. Yeah, it shouldn't. Yeah.
okay, at what point in time did you get that error? Because I'm also on Windows. I don't think I got into that error that you're
Also the
describing.
Yeah, what
installation.
happened with you, Srini, is maybe you have selected add to path also, so it added to the path
Ah,
automatically.
gotcha.
And maybe so Sritaram missed it, I guess. Something had happened like that, I guess. That is the reason why that error is coming.
Oh, while installation, huh? Okay. Okay.
While installation only, it like automatically adds to the path.
Oh, I just selected the tools or whatever, the other option, but I don't think I have done anything different except selecting one additional step. Probably that would have installed this. Okay.
Even I don't know when how this happened, but it happened. So it is basically because of the path.
I think we can download the same thing. It's available in the same link that you have forwarded, Harsha. I mean, all this can be downloaded, tools and the stuff. It's
Yeah,
already
correct.
available in the downloads directory, which you have sent the link.
But Surya, here the error we are speaking because it's not added in the environment variable. So until unless you add it to the environment variable, you can't access it from any of the terminal, right? I think you people might be knowing this. Even Java and all, we used to add it to the, you know, you add it to the environment variable, and then you can, even if you worked in Node.js or anywhere, you have to add it to the path to access its capabilities all over the system. So here the issue of uh, of Sitaram is because of this thing that it is not added to the path. Okay. So I think once you have you, so Sitaram, you are going to restart or what? I'm continuing with the class. Okay.
No, I will do it. I'm redoing it to see if that option gets prompted so I can select that prompt. I'm
Okay. Do
re.
one thing. Do one thing. Then delete this. Delete this get. Delete this get from here. From program files, delete this and reinstall it.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Delete this. Yeah.
Okay. That makes sense. So yeah, otherwise it may not pick it up right
Yeah.
again.
Yeah. Yeah. Delete this and do it. Okay.
Okay. Cool.
Okay, chalo guys, we are coming into the lab part of this. Okay, now we'll be understanding clearly what I spoke about and what all we have done. So here let me explain one thing. So this is basically get. We have understood it's a CLI tool. We have to do everything from the command prompt. So what we need to do is first when we write get, when we say get, these are the commands. So this first command is basically to connect to the testnet. Testnet is nothing but Rinkaby. It connects to the Rinkaby and store the blockchain data to data1 folder. Okay, how did I do that? Let's see the command. How did I do this? Now get. When I write get, the computer will understand that, okay, now I'm going to become a node. Okay, now a node is being created in my system. When I install get into my system, then I write get. What system understands that is the node is being created. Okay, a node is being created, but this node can be connected to any network, right? This node can be directed to main network, test network, and all. As in our course, we're going to do with the test network. What I need to do is I need to specify the network where I'm connecting to, like dash dash testnet. When I write dash dash testnet, it connects automatically to the Ropsten network. And what I'm saying next is that write the chain data, whatever blocks that are being downloaded, write the whole blockchain data to the data1 folder. Okay, this is what I'm going to do. Are you clear about this command, guys? Are you clear about the first command that I've just explained? Get will create the node. Dash dash testnet will connect this node to a test network. Datadir will say that place the blockchain data in a data1 folder. Okay. Now I'm just copying this and I'm giving this command to the people. Okay.
So where are you mentioning whether it is Ropsten or Rinkby or whatever?
Yeah. So when you say dash dash testnet, it automatically says that it is connecting to Ropsten.
Oh, okay. That's the testnet is the okay. So
Yeah.
the test
So
server name in Ropsten.
yeah. So when you
Okay.
see MetaMask, if you remember, I was dropping down and selecting different addresses, right? So I
Right.
was selecting different networks, correct? Here,
Mm-hmm.
if you remember,
Mm-hmm.
I
Yeah.
was selecting. So this is what is happening in the background. Background, these commands are being run. Okay.
Oh, okay.
When I say main network, Robson network, this is what command is being run. When I say Robson network, it is running the command get dash dash testnet. Actually, this is not the command which is being run. There is a JS file which runs actually, but then just keep in mind that on the background, as we have seen MetaMask how it works, in the background now we are going to explore how the background is working. Okay, here we are
Okay.
just using an UI and sending, but then now we're going to understand how the background is working of this thing.
Gotcha.
Okay, yeah. So I copied that command. I'm pasting that command over here. I'll do this to everyone. Just a minute, guys. Yeah, just paste the command. Okay, now what you do is go to the folder which you have created. Okay, I have come here. Mine is e, and within the e it is get, and what I do, I open the cmd, right? So the cmd, so I'd go here, I open the command prompt. Okay, and here you just paste whatever I have sent. When you do this, I press, just see my screen for now. Okay, just see my screen for now. I paste it, so I press enter. See, now something is happening, right? It is connecting to the test network. See, it is the get instance. Okay, what is the version it is giving? Okay, the database is being written to get data1 folder, get chain data. So if you see, as soon as I have given the command, if you see here, it was vacant first. Now data1 folder has been created. Within that, a get folder is created within which the chain data is being written. Okay, you can't see this all these things because this is not in human readable format. These all things are in encoded format. Chain data is basically written in encoded format. But what you need to see is that whenever I have given the command, a data1 folder is created, a folder called get, and a key store has to be created. So please go on and execute the command. I have sent that. I have pasted it there.
Yeah, I got it done, but Keystore doesn't have anything right now, right?
Yeah, because we haven't created any account till now.
Okay.
Key store will be having data. Key store basically has the account data. Yes, Surya, your question.
Yeah, I have done executed that command, but after certain transactions, it has given a warning to me saying synchronization failed, dropping peer. Then it started importing new block receipts,
That
headers.
is that is basically because of the internet speed. Okay, we are connecting to a test network and trying to download the blockchain data. What is the RAM of your laptop?
Mine it's 16 GB, I think.
16 GB is good. 16 GB is actually good. Okay, but then it's basically because of the internet issues, and it comes as synchronization failed, and again it starts downloading. But now to download the whole blockchain, it might take you 5 to 6 hours. Okay, so
Okay.
don't do that. Don't do that. We were not going to download the whole blockchain. Don't do it. Okay,
I mean,
just for your
I haven't executed any transactions. It started by itself.
see, transactions are not required. Now you are becoming a full node on a test network. So you have to download all the blocks, all the transactions that have actually happened since the beginning of time.
Yeah. I mean to say, whatever the link, command that you have given, I have executed it in the command prompt, and it started downloading the new block headers resets by itself. I haven't done anything specially. Is it something just like,
Here we need to understand that here just we are creating a node in our laptop, and here we are connecting the load to a test network. Correct? We are just connecting a node to the test network. Obviously, when we connect to the test network, it will start downloading all the blocks. You need not have to do anything. Automatically in the background, it starts downloading all the blocks. Once all the blocks are downloaded, you can start mining also.
okay?
Yeah. So
So
I'm not
you,
getting the point, Surya,
yeah,
actually.
Harsha, I think you're saying ignored the message that Sitaram is referring to, which apparently I got as well. Synchronization
Yeah.
failed, dropping peer connection. Action
Yes.
from bad peer ignored.
Correct. So right now,
Uh,
don't look into that. Don't look
uh,
into that. Just see whether you're creating those two folders. When you have good RAM power and good data space, try to do mining. But in the present platform, I wouldn't suggest you to do mining. Okay, it is very CPU intensive, so don't do it.
So
Hello.
then, how to stop the download that's going on?
Let's go. Let it go on. Now I'll tell you when to kill it.
Hey, Harsha, I see that data folder created, but not the key folder.
Key store
Looks
is
like
not
some.
created.
No.
Within the data, go within the data folder. Go within data one.
Oh, never
There
mind.
you would be having.
Yeah, I have it.
Yes, correct. So guys, what you need to look at here is that what all things are you are seeing. So you can see that the configuration is the chain ID is 3. Testnet, if you remember the ID number that I had given is testnet code was 3, correct? 1 minute. Yeah, the mainnet was 1, Robson is 3, Rinkaby is 4, correct? For the verbosity, I included 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. See, if you do it in 0, it will be silent mode. It won't be printing anything on our command prompt. 1, if you do, only the errors will be printed. 2, if you do, warnings will be printed. So by default, it is 3, which is the info mode. When you do dash dash verbosity, about which I'll explain next. But I showed you in the notes that 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 was there, if you remember. So in default, I told it is 3. You can configure it to any one of these. Okay. If you come here, yeah. So if you come back to this command, so what I wanted you to see was that, see, what data folder is being created, what you just understand is that when I'm giving that command, this command basically connects us to a test network and whole chain data is being written to the, yeah, fine Raja, that is not a big issue. That is because of the internet issues, internet speed, okay. Let those errors be, don't concentrate on those errors. Now basically what I'm trying to say is that this get will create a node, our laptop becomes a node, okay, miner or something. And dash dash testnet, when you say it is connecting to a test network, and the whole data, the test network already has a blockchain present, right? It already has a blockchain present. It has lot of blocks, and whole that blockchain is getting downloaded, and the whole blockchain data will be written to the data one folder. Okay. When I did that command, there was no data one folder. It created a data one folder, and within that, within get, the chain data is being written. Okay, guys, this is what I wanted to tell you. Did you get this thing? This will be helpful for you even during your private blockchains, when you create your private blockchains, when you do not have huge amounts of the blockchain. Yeah, huge amount of blocks to actually download. Yeah. So Surya, are you okay with this? Srini, yeah.
no, we kind of lost you briefly, or maybe it was just me. I don't know.
Okay. Any questions? So Srini, where did you lose it?
I think you were talking about all the in the data folder, everything got downloaded or something.
No, it is downloading actually. See, my net is very slow, so it's not downloading anything. But you might be seeing something else. It is importing blocks. Block number. It will be there here, I guess. I think something else would be there for you people. Can you tell?
Yeah. Harsha, yours
Yeah,
is
my
actually locked. That's why it's not moving.
Mine is not. See, block
Now it will
synchronization.
show. Yep.
Yeah, mine is not showing, but here the main thing what you need to understand is that you are downloading all the blockchain. So is this concept of node clear to you people? Like when you are becoming a node, what is happening? Can anyone tell me? Hello.
It seems becoming a node. It seems it's been all the data has a copy of in your node.
Correct. Correct. So what is happening here? What is happening in our case? I am trying to become a node. What will it do? Does it already have the chain data, or will it start downloading?
Yeah, it is downloading the chain data so that future blocks can be processed.
Correct. 100%. So that is what we are doing now. But at present, we cannot download the whole chain data because we don't have that much of chain data space. So don't get your head around it that why synchronization failing and all those things. But what I'm trying to say is that when you connect to the Geth test network, there is a folder created that is in Geth. The whole chain data will be written, and in the key store, when we create the account in the next commands, there you can see that the accounts are being created, and the public key, private key is being stored. Okay.
So,
And
sorry.
Srini, you had a question, right?
Yeah, one quick question. When you
Yeah.
say the nodes are downloaded,
No,
where,
blocks are.
blocks are downloaded, where do I see, which folder do I get to see in case if it is downloaded
So
successfully?
yeah, you come here, and then it will be getting downloaded in Geth folder. Okay. So once
Oh, okay.
everything gets synchronized, it will give you that synchronization completed. Okay, synchronization completed, and from there on, you can create the new blocks, or you can also participate in mining. Okay.
Okay, so I get to see within get all these blocks or whatever, like lock or whatever, you will have another
Correct,
entry.
but
Okay.
this all thing is encoded, so you can't understand what is being written there. Okay,
Right, but there will be, right now I see 2 folders and 3 files there. So probably I will
correct.
see another file or folder kind of stuff.
No. Within this chain data only,
Ah,
it will keep
within the
on writing.
chain. Okay,
Yeah,
gotcha.
yeah, within the chain data only. It's like a race, Let's say that since last 5 years, Ethereum is there. So many people are racing to find the nonce, correct? So they
Okay,
will obviously be having the whole chain data, correct? Now we
gotcha.
are joining the race. It means that we have to first cover, let's say they have covered 10,000 meters. We have to cover those 10,000 meters first. And after that, then we need to chase them, or we need to participate with them for mining.
Gotcha.
Hey, Hamza, should I kill it now?
Yeah, kill it, please kill it. Everyone kill it. Kill the instance, please.
So what is the command for
Control C.
killing
Just
it?
click on
Control
it. Just
C,
click
I
on it
guess.
and control. Yeah.
Control C? Okay, thanks.
So let's go on to the next command. So the next command is this. Okay. The next command, what I'm trying to do is get. Can anyone explain me this thing? Can any one of you explain this? Venkat, Teja, any one of you? Surya, please explain me this command. What's till here you can
So,
explain.
so we're creating a second folder with the security related key stores.
No,
I have
don't.
not
Yeah,
seen.
it's a
I don't want
keystore
to know yet.
certificate or something like that. In Java, you have similar thing like you install a certificate and you give the keystore detail. And here also you're trying to get that certificate or something like the keystore
No,
certificate.
no.
Secured.
I want the breakup. I want the breakup. Tell me one by one, word by word. Go word by word from left to right.
Okay, I think the first test net is you are trying to connect to the test net server,
Great.
and data
Okay.
directory is like you are trying to create a data directory called data2, and
Great.
the key store is like indicating you are trying to get a secret certificate or secret key or something like that in that key
No.
store.
Correct. You're close to it, but then I'm not trying to get it. I am trying to. So when I created this folder, you see that when I created a data1 folder, you see that within data1 I have get as well as key store. Okay. But let's say that I want my key store. In the key store, actually, when I create my account, right, the password and all will come here. Okay. So let's say that I don't want to have the key store here. I am redirecting the key store to some other folder, some other hidden folder. You're getting it. So let's execute this command, then you'll understand better about it. It's not bringing something. I'm actually creating a folder called secret and storing the keys there.
Or making it private then.
Yes, yes.
Harsha, what is
Yeah.
this keystore file extensions? Is it like CRT, PC12?
It is actually, just a minute, I'll show you. So Keystore doesn't have an extension. Keystore is a folder. Okay. Within that, the public key, private key will be placed. Are you getting it? So Keystore is not. Yeah. So we have PEM files. I think you're actually pointing to the PEM
PEM
files
files,
and all those
yes.
things. No.
Yes.
Here there is not that concept is not there here. Here we don't have any PEM files or something like that. Here Keystore is a folder in which when we create an account, the private key will be stored.
Okay.
Okay, I'll tell you when we will create the account, you can see the file type. Okay, for now,
Okay.
just understand that key store is a folder where keys will be stored. Okay,
All right.
yeah. So I'm just copying this command. Yeah. Now open the command prompt. So same command prompt. You can clear the screen. You can type CLS. Once you type CLS, it gets cleared. Okay, and I have a secret folder already. I don't know how. Here I will go to the command prompt. Yeah, guys. If you see my folder structure right now, I have a data2 where only get is there and the key store folder has been redirected here. See. So in data1, I had get and key store at the same place because I did not define where the key store has to be stored. Here I defined where the key store has to be stored.
Folder are you looking into?
The same folder. I think the same command prompt which you had opened, right?
Yeah, get.
There you execute the same command. A data2 folder will be created and a secret will be created.
I don't see that. I did execute the prompt, but I don't see that within get. I still see only. Oh yeah, no, hold on, sorry. Yeah, within the get, I see. Oh yeah, now I do.
Yeah, there's a data2 and a secret, right?
Correct. Yeah, it took a while. I think it's
No
probably
issues.
slow.
No issues. Just go into data2. You can see that there is something called get and kill the instance initially. As soon as you execute the command, no, within 10 seconds, just kill the instance so that you don't download anything. Just kill the instance every time you do it. Yeah. So now, are you understanding something? What has happened here? Can anyone explain what has happened? Yeah, Teja.
We created a new folder called secret.
Yeah, but what does it have? What will this have? What will this key store have? What will the secret have? Sorry. This is the place where when we create the keys, when we create a public key or a private key, whenever I'm generating an account for myself, whenever I'm creating an address for myself, at that point, the keys will be stored in the secret folder. That is what this command says. Get says that it go and connect to the test network, go and connect to the test network, Okay, and the data folder will be data2 only, but the key store, the key should be, saved to a folder called as secret. Okay, just we are redirecting the key store which was actually being formed within the data folder. In the first command, the key store by default was going into the data1 folder, but I don't want it to be there. I want it to be in a secure location. So I can redirect it to any path. You can give any path and you can redirect your keys to some other place which is more secure. Okay, so get gives you this chance to store your keys at some other place. When we create the account, you'll know how these keys are being stored.
Can you store it in some sort of secured servers like Thycotic server and stuff like that, other tools which keeps all the secrets normally?
No, 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 you can't do that. You can't go and send it to a server.
Okay.
Maybe you can store it in a folder and write a script to pick it up and send it to the server. You have to write an external script for it.
Okay, gotcha. You can't directly connect to another server.
No,
Okay.
no, you can't do that. You can't do that.
Okay.
Yeah. Any more questions, guys? Okay. If you don't ask questions, I wouldn't be knowing whether you're understanding or not. So it's better you ask questions, right? So subject to be clear now only. Whether are you getting the results at least? You can just say yes in the chat if you're getting the results.
Does the secret folder has to be in the data2 directory? When you say we can move it to a different location, right? Does it always has to be in the data2 directory to perform our operation?
Data directory means, can you come again? Sorry, I did not get you. Data directory means?
We created a separate folder called secret, right? Which has public key, private key. So to to run the nodes and to run our transactions, does it have to sit in the same location, or it can be in any other location?
Okay, okay. When I'm unlocking, no, it should see once through the command line, wherever you are storing it, it should be there only. It cannot be removed from there and pasted somewhere else. It cannot pick it up that way. It has to be in that location only, which you have specified. Like does key store, you have put it into some folder, let's say, it should be there only. You're understanding?
Yeah, but how does it related to data2 directory? I mean, if we are performing any transaction or for the encryption purpose, right? So we can't move this secret folder which has our public key and private key to some other location, right?
No, we can't. We can't do that. It should be in the location which you have specified while running the command.
Okay.
Yeah. So the next command is that we'll try to connect to. Okay. Can anyone tell me this thing? Can anyone explain me this thing? Any one of you, Revant or like anyone, Teja or anyone of you, just explain me the third command.
It connects to the ops.
Correct. Okay.
It's connect to the test network and download the previous data in the light mode.
The light mode and store it where?
In the
In
data.
another folder, data3.
Correct. Great. So guys, keep killing the instance whenever you're doing it.
Can you ping the command, Harsha?
Yeah, I pinged it.
So as soon as you see the folder created, do you want me to kill the
Yeah. Kill it.
command? Okay.
So guys, here if you go here, you can see one thing. One thing has changed. Can anyone tell me what has changed in the get folder?
You got 1 second. Let me check on mine. That like light chain data.
Correct. There we had chain data, but here it is downloading the light chain data. So we synchronized in the light, we connected in the light chain mode, right? So in the light chain mode, what did I say? It will only download the present state, right? In the light chain data, it has created different folder name called light chain data, and then it has downloaded this.
Harsha, you have a folder at the hash. I don't see that on my desktop.
It's not coming for you?
No, it was there in data one when I created on the first command, and I don't see that in data two, and I don't see that on data three.
Or it is basically maybe hash. Why is it not coming? Yeah, it is. It can be related to your net speeds only. You can say.
Okay.
So yeah. So my net speed is good right now. Ethash has come for me. Data one, it did not come.
Uh,
Yeah.
Harsha, this is Rajshekar. Actually, in get folder, I see these nodes. Light chain data folder is created and the nodes folder is created instead of ehash.
Yeah, it is varying person to person. Looks like it is.
Maybe because of the version. Maybe. Yeah.
Yeah, it
Ethash.
probably because of person. Maybe instead of ehash now they may be creating nodes folder.
Okay, guys. Okay. Correct. Actually, Ethash. Actually, what happens is the Ethash goes and sits in the default folder. Actually, it shouldn't be coming here. As much as my experience, what happens is Ethash and goes and sits in the app data. Within app data, we have something called as Ethereum, and within that we have Ethash, and it automatically goes there. But I don't understand why is it coming here. Okay. So what is the difference actually between you and us? What is the difference? You are getting nodes, is it?
Yes.
Okay. And what else? Someone else was coming getting something else.
I do got notes.
I
Yeah,
see light
I got
chain data
notes.
nodes, lock node key.
Maybe Ethash has been converted into nodes, I guess, in 2.0.
Yeah, as we are using the latest one.
Anyhow, guys, I'll come back to you about this, okay, tomorrow. Please remind me about
Uh,
it.
Harsha, one more thing. In the previous command, a data2 folder, the ethash was created, not in
Okay.
data3 folder.
So maybe because of maybe for the light
So,
chain data, they have done some upgrade,
Yeah.
and for the main chain, they haven't done, I
so
guess.
itash is being updated in data one folder itself, even for data three. If you go back and look at the timestamp of itash file, then you'll see the timestamp.
So it's a combination, yes. It's a combination of the network as well as the version and all these things. Yep. So here I don't have. I'm not getting Ethash here, but for light chain data only, I'm getting it.
Yeah, with the new latest version, I think they're maintaining the same folder, same itash folder in data one.
Yeah, I think
Correct.
we got,
Same is being updated.
yeah, pretty much we got in every single folder that you're testing. I don't know what is the significance of it, but the structures seem to be consistent across data one, two, except in data three. In addition, you also have the light chain thing.
Okay. Correct.
Yeah, and it is not a small file. It's a 16 MB each one.
So kill the instance every time. Kill the instance. Don't download everything. Okay. moving on. The next one would be, yeah. So basically, the as a developer or something like that, it's better, dump your configuration into a test file and then load it. Okay. So instead of, let's say that my instance, I'm using it today, I downloaded the get instance, and let's say I was synchronizing in light mode only, let's say, and then every day I shouldn't wake up, and whenever I'm setting up my system, when I'm connecting to the test network, I should not again and again, write the same command every time. So the better way as a developer to do this is that, write the configurations and dump it into a file, dump it into a config file. And here the config file has an extension called .toml. Okay, .toml is nothing but Tom's only markup language. Okay, so the configuration files in get are specified by .toml files, and the toml file would be Tom's only markup language. Okay, so I'll be giving you this command. Just here you will be seeing that there will be nothing running, but then later we'll load this file and set up an instance. Just execute this.
Harsha, how to, if you want to see the data in toml file, how to, which tool you have to use to open it?
No, it will open on any visual editor, any editor. You can open that file and you will see that whatever you have written, that will be there in the config file. See.
Okay.
Just I'm muting for a second. Yeah, guys. Did you find a file called test?
4. Oh, it says data 4 in there.
Data
And
4 will
then
be created, and then there is a test. Open that. So you'll be seeing.
No, I don't think I got it. Hold on. Sorry.
Yeah, I got it. It says this config does not contain Genesis Black.
Correct. Yeah, because the data 4 folder, we haven't downloaded anything. Correct. So there is no Genesis block. So there is only a data 4 folder created, but the blockchain has not been downloaded. That is the reason why it is saying that.
Okay, Harsha, I got, it says info ether 25 total count 25 or whatever, and then in the folder structure under data 4, I got only key store. And then I see data 4. I click on it. I just see one folder called key store.
Come out of the data 4. No, don't go into the data 4. Come out of the data 4.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, there, that one, open that one, the bottom one, test. I can see.
Okay, so I'm in Git. Okay. Oh, test.toml. Okay. At the same level as the folders. Yeah, I got it.
Correct. Now, what has happened is you are saying that the Genesis is not there. You are saying, right? Why it is saying is that the folder has been created and this instance has not been up. Okay. So what has happened here is that the instance has not come up yet. We have just dumped the whatever we want to do into a file. Now we will load this file and the instance will come up. Okay. See, now what we will do is, are you understanding what is happening here? The whole command whichever we have written, the commands which we have written is being dumped into a file. Okay. So it comes into a configuration kind of, syntax. You can say that syntax would be coming into a configuration type of syntax. And now here I'm loading the config file. How do you load the config file? By using this command. Now you copy and paste in this command. Now put this, you will see that the instance would come up. It is connecting to the test network, and see, this is coming up. So here what we have done is we have actually picked up the toml file, and I have loaded the toml file, and the instance is coming up.
So Harsha, dumping the config file and probably is it something that if you wanted to bring up the similar instance on a different system, you can
Correct.
use the config file and load it?
Yeah, yeah. Correct.
Okay.
Can we kill that session thing?
Yeah, it's kill it. Please kill it. So everyone is done. Everyone has loaded the config file. So now you understand what is happening. The whole configuration, I've dumped it into a file. And tomorrow again, if I want to use the same instance, I just load the file and the instance will be up. So were you able to bring up the instance? If you say yes, I'll move on to the next one.
Yes. Yep.
So when you say bring up the instance, I execute the command that you just sent, and then I see how do I know whether it's got interrupt, shutting down, IPC endpoint. Is it what? How do I know whether it's up or down?
It will be running. It will be
Oh,
either
okay.
importing the blocks, and then it will say synchronization done.
Okay.
From there on, if you were doing mining, you can also mine. So those
Gotcha.
things you
Okay.
will understand if you download the blockchain.
Yeah, I think I saw something in there. Local node record, new local, like, yeah. Okay. P2P
So
networking, something like
so
that.
the other guys, if you're able to do it, say yes, in the chat. If you say yes, I'm moving on to the next one. Yeah, Raj is over. Surya, Teja, Venkat is also done, I guess. Srini is done. Yes, okay. Now, now let's create an account. Let's create an account. What we'll do is just copy this command. So how will we create an account? Now we know that we connect to the testnet. The data is entered into the data 7. And what is this verbosity to 0? Okay. Till now, what we were seeing is that when I'm doing the command, you can see certain things being printed on the console. Correct. So that is because we have running in the info mode. Okay. The logging is being done in the info mode. But dash dash verbosity 0 will be running our command prompt in a silent mode. That is, nothing will be printed. I'm just doing this because it becomes crazy if it keeps printing and we are creating an account. Okay, I'm just doing because of that. So now when you do it, as soon as you do it, this will ask you for a password. I'll just show it to you. Okay, I'll just show it to you. Just look at my screen right now. I open the terminal here again. Okay, I paste it. I say account new. It is asking for a password. What he is saying is that your new account is locked with a password. Please give a password. Do not forget this password. So I'm just giving it as pass. Sorry. I give a pass and then I get an address. So this is my public address, okay, on the Ethereum test network. On main network also you can use the same address. So I have generated an address. Once I have generated address, you can go to data 7, okay. You can see this key store. Within the key store, you can see that a file has been created. See this. File has been created. See. If you open this, so this is my public key. This is my public key, and AES 128 is actually symmetric encryption. If you people have heard about it, it's actually a symmetric encryption, and my private key has been symmetrically encrypted. Okay, this is symmetric encryption. Okay, this is symmetric encryption. AES 128 is an algorithm. It's a symmetric encryption algorithm, and the cipher text is actually the encrypted form of my private key. So when I'm doing that pass, that pass is actually the key which encrypts, which actually uses, we put that pass in the AES 128 algorithm with my private key, and my private key has been encrypted in this way. Okay. So if you people have worked with, encryption and decryption, you might be understanding symmetric encryption. Symmetric encryption is nothing but encrypting and decrypting with the same key. So what has happened was that when I get given this command, when I had given this command called does get as testnet data dir and account new, it asked me for a password. I gave a password pass. Okay. Now this particular pass word is taken, pass is taken, and the public private key which is generated, the private key is taken, and it is the private key is again encrypted with my password and saved into this file. Okay. Any questions, guys? Any questions? Any questions about this, please? Hello.
Can you go through again, please?
Okay. I'll do it once more. Okay, let me take it here and explain it to you. Now, so yeah, so basically what has happened was that I typed this command, right? Type this
So is
you
this
understand?
sorry, is this password is a new password that you create for this or
Yeah,
the
yeah. I
one
just
which,
give it. Whatever I remember, I just give it.
okay.
Private key is encrypted using the password. So guys, yeah, are you understanding what I had written here? So what happened was when I gave this command to the command prompt, okay, it prompted me to give a password. I then gave a password. Okay. After taking the password in the background, what it does is it generates a public-private key pair. Okay. Once it generates a public-private key pair, what it does is, as private key, you cannot put a private key directly on your folder, right? Private key should not, it should not be human readable. So public key can be human readable, but private key should not be human readable. So what it does is, it takes the password, encrypts the private key with that password. Okay, you know how encryption does, like you give some key. So let's say that I have some data, I give some key and encrypt them, and again decrypt the data using the same key so that only I can understand the data or I can only see the data. So if you have worked with encryption, there is something called a symmetric encryption. In symmetric encryption, what happens is the same key is being used for encryption as well as decryption. Okay, so this is what has happened here. So there is an AES-128 function in the background. What it does is once a private key is created, the private key is encrypted using a password and you get a cipher text. Cipher is nothing but, a secret text which people can't understand, or a language which people can't understand. And let's say that me and Srini wants to have a communication. What I'll do is that I'll send Srini's hello. Let's say I want to send hello to Srini, or let's say I want to send some confidential data to Srini. What I'll do is that I don't want others to see it or someone to, sniff it through the network. So what I'll do is I'll take the message and I'll put a key, I'll put a password. Let's say I'll put my name as password and I send it to him and I'll say that, hey Srini, put my name and see the message, So this is what is happening basically here. So here what has happened was the private key is being encrypted using your password and the cipher text is stored in the text file. The ciphertext is actually stored in the text file. This ciphertext which you see, okay, this ciphertext is nothing but your private key which has been encrypted being using your password. Guys, if it is going, please tell yes or no. I don't know whether you're.
Yeah. Yes. Yeah.
Teja, you understood what is happening here?
Yeah.
Yes.
Harsha, I have a question. This
Yeah.
private key and password, are they two separate things? Because
Yes.
even if you know the private key, you have to have a something like salt in Java for
Correct.
encryption or decryption.
Ah,
So
correct.
this password is like a salt thing which you only know and you will pass it to your counterpart.
Correct. It's like salt only. You can say it is salt. Correct. Yeah. But the IB, you might be also having initializing vector, right? The initializing vector is random. It will be there in the text file itself. But password is the salt, which you said, right? The password is actually the salt.
Okay.
Correct. 100%. Yes. So are all clear about this? Why we gave the password and how password is being used to encrypt the private key and private key is being stored in the background as a cipher, a language which people can't understand, Okay, can I move on, guys? So I think you should go here. If you say yes, I'll move on, guys.
Yeah,
Can you
please.
please say yes?
Go ahead.
So run this command. Have you run this command? Please run this command in here.
Yeah, done.
Now run the next command. In the next command, what you will see is that you will be able to run this command. In this command, you will be able to see that you'll be able to see the list of all the accounts. You can create one more account, and when you run this command, you can see all the accounts that have been created in this instance.
Harsha, I'm trying to put my pass phrase. That's where I give the password.
Yeah, correct. Yes.
Instead of new, it is replaced by list. That's all right.
Correct.
Rest all remains same.
Same. Yes. Now the next command would be is that you can take this.
Sorry, I think I'm struggling. Is the
Yeah,
password gets typed automatically in the command prompt, or?
no, you won't be visible to you actually. When you type it, it won't be visible to you. Just type it and press enter and type the same thing again. It won't be visible to you. So you might be thinking that it's nothing is getting typed, but it is
Correct.
actually typing.
Okay, but now I probably screwed it up. Now, how do I clean it first before I enter? Just say
You go ahead.
backspace?
Yeah, just go backspace. Yeah.
Okay, I do more than what I wanted, but let me make sure. Okay, repeat. Okay, that's good at least.
Yeah, now the next one. Execute the next command. You continue with that, Srini. Then there is one more command which I've sent.
Okay, I got it. I think it gave me some address and something. Okay. Do I have to copy any one of these or no? Just execute the next command. Because
Yeah,
it
just
says after I repeated the password, it gave me some address.
yeah, that's it. Gave an address. Now execute the next command, that is list. Replace the new with list. Is this an error? Dash unlock.
No, hold on. Sorry. I have first one is the probably you are way ahead of config file. You had one data 7, and then the next one you got like verbosity one. Is that the one you want me to execute now?
No. The one is you have created account now. The next one is the list. List. This one.
Okay.
You can scroll up in the chat and you'll find that.
Okay. Do it. Hold on. Sorry. You probably no. At 8:16, I had a message from you Pacific time, and then the next one is the verbosity at 8:30. That's the last one. Get test.
Verbosity. Dash
No, okay,
verbosity is
we
an
are
account
done.
new. Then after that, instantly after that, after I
Would you
think.
mind repasting it just for me?
Yeah,
Which command? That'll be easier, I think. Thank you.
Oh.
Yeah, that command is not working as it is.
That's what even I'm checking. Just a minute. Zero is also.
That is
Okay.
asking for passphrase for me.
Hey, is it working for you? Give the
Yeah, put
password.
zero in the code. Put zero in the quotes, I think.
Yeah, I also put that earlier, right? I put that in the codes itself. Let me check. So far,
After
you give
data
the password?
7, after data 7, give a space for verbosity.
I think it did that.
Sorry. Great. That was great. Good. Who was this?
Teja.
Yeah, thanks, Teja. Great, yeah. Great, Teja. Yeah, you need to give a space. Thanks, man.
Yeah, I think in the command you mentioned.
Yeah,
Yeah,
maybe when
I
you
was.
type.
Yeah, I was able to get it something. I don't
So
quite
you,
understand this lengthy
if you
string
give,
though, but yeah, go ahead, Tej. Sorry, Harsha, you're saying something.
no, nothing. Are you able to unlock? That's what I was saying. Everyone are they able to unlock? I think I'll just replace this command, use this command, or else just type it. No, it's good if you type it. Just give a space after data 7. The command which I sent, there is an issue, I guess. After data 7, I did not give a space.
City. Oh, unlock. Though the next command. Okay, gotcha.
Harsha, I'm trying
Uh-huh.
this, but this fast phrase after I entered the correct fast phrase, it is
Uh-huh.
like
It's
blinking,
still,
nothing happening.
yeah, it means it
I
has
think
got it has got
it's
unlocked.
still,
Yeah,
Okay.
if
yeah.
it's unlocked, it should come back to the prompt, right?
No. It will be there like that. No, it won't come back. It won't come back.
Okay.
Yeah.
So if that is the case, do we just kill the window now?
Yeah. Control C.
How do we know it's unlocked now?
It's unlocked only. Actually, earlier what used to happen was there was a true which comes, okay, and nowadays this true is not come. Yeah, the passphrase is wrong, Raj. Yeah, what happens? Who is this? Whose question was that? Raja, right?
Yeah.
No, about the
Yes,
how
sorry,
do you know?
Arsha. Yes, Arsha.
Raj, actually what happens is that, when you, so earlier what used to happen was true used to come, but I don't know why it is not coming. True is not coming right now. So generally true has to come. This one, the true is not coming. So it is nothing, it's just the same. If you give the password, if it fails, actually it will give you an error completely. But if it doesn't fail, it won't show you anything.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Yeah, typically how long it takes to get to see whether it is failed or not? Because I get
So it is
nothing and move on to the next
instantly,
command.
instantly,
Okay,
instantly.
so that means it's unlocked, yeah. Okay.
Yeah. Just 1 minute, guys. Just
So while we are waiting for Harsha, how many of you are into this crypto transactions or trading?
What is that question? Can you repeat?
I'm wondering how many of you into the trading or issuers.
Is this Sitaram?
This Venkatreddy.
Oh, Venkat. Okay. Yeah, I'm not into that. I missed my calling in 2009 when Bitcoin started. I thought of investing $100 at the time. I would have been retired right now if I had done that.
I tried mining back in 2009 with my son's advice, and then we killed it after a couple of days.
Oh, okay.
Don't know what happened after that.
Sometimes we should take son's advice as well.
Yeah, that's true. I didn't listen to anybody, so I was making real good tons of money back in last January, but we lost all that. It's back to where we were.
Yeah, that is better position to be there than losing 80%, 90% of what you have invested.
Yeah, that's right.
actually, it was a bubble. The thing was at that point, people were just overvaluing the currencies without a product. So I had seen this cycle earlier also. So these cycles keeps on happening. The crypto going up, going down. But then it's actually good for the crypto space, as such, because it's becoming more mature. Earlier it was only hype and random investing, and then with, like people pumping up prices and all. So it was going crazy during January, and many people actually invested in that time, which is the sad part. That had happened with the dot-com bubble also, so you can relate to that. So every technology when it comes in, it is overvalued. So yeah,
Good thing was we started in 2015 May
great.
investing, and then unfortunately we couldn't take it back out, in fact, from the market.
So it's back to same, is it?
Actually, I took my investment. I still have all my coins.
Yeah, okay. Great. So all of you have invested in cryptocurrencies, guys?
No, I am not. This is
And
Raj.
Okay.
I didn't do that.
Okay. Hmm. Okay. Now, one thing what we can do is we can take our address. We'll just go and take our address. Where was our address? Yeah. You can go to your text file, copy the address. Just copy this address.
What is this text file?
Is it a key store file?
Yeah, it's a key store file, yes.
Which folder?
You can go to data 7.
Data 7, okay.
Then
Key
there is a
store,
code.
yeah.
Key store. Yeah,
Okay,
open
there's
that.
there's some folder here, I would say.
Yeah, after the address, there is a colon and there is this one also. Like there is a quote, double quotes, right? After the colon, there is a double quote. After that, your address starts. Just copy it like this as it is mine. Just see my screen.
Okay, hold on. Sorry. I'm juggling between. This address seems to be much longer than what you got there. Oh, okay. Maybe it's because I opened in a different editor. You're in Notepad. Okay. So yeah, after address, whatever you got that. Okay. From there, after codes, you have, okay, only that part of it.
Yeah,
Got
yeah,
you.
yeah. Copy it, go to MetaMask, paste it, send some ethers, and send check it on the ether scan.
Okay. And go to MetaMask now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So Harsha, we created key and then we unlocked the key so that we can access from network. Is that right?
No. That has nothing to do with this. So when you are actually
Uh,
trying to do a transaction from my thing,
Mm-hmm.
hello, yeah, who's this? When we in the future, when we'll create a private blockchain, right? At that
Mm-hmm.
time, we'll try to use a contract from our account. At that time, you'll understand why we are unlocking.
I see.
Okay, so just for now, unlock, and this is not at all, related. I'm just copying the public address that I have created and I'm pasting it here.
Pasting it where?
Okay.
Yeah, go to the Ethereum, go to the MetaMask,
Okay.
copy that, paste it here.
Oh, into the to
Right?
address.
Yeah,
Okay.
to address, but before that,
Oh,
write 0x. Write 0x before it.
oh, 0x. Okay.
So that it says
Oh,
that
in
it's
the
an
in the recipient address 0x and the
address. Yeah, yeah.
okay
Send,
0x and paste the address. Okay. And then say send.
next. Yeah, send, confirm.
Okay, hold on. How much do okay, here I
Point one.
mentioned the amount. Okay.
I sent only point one.
0.1 and send by fast, yeah. Okay, okay, it says recipient address is invalid. 0. Is it 0x or OX?
Yes, 0x.
Really? Okay.
okay. Harsha, it says sending ether pending.
Yes. Let it be there. It'll take time.
Okay.
It'll get confirmed.
Okay, I'm retyping the address again.
Yeah, while we are at that, I have some questions related to this file, this crypto file. It says crypto2. The cipher mechanism is AES-120-CTR. Cipher text. So if you know this mechanism, you can do the decryption and get those fast phrase, right?
No, passphrase cannot be there. We cannot get the passphrase.
Oh, okay.
Passphrase is not stored anywhere. Okay, that is the beauty of this. Passphrase is not stored anywhere. Whenever we are
But
giving a pass,
no, I'm talking about that cipher text, not the fast phrase. The
you
cipher
want,
text is there, right?
yeah. Cipher text is your what do we say? Cipher text is your encryption of the private key. Correct?
Right.
Right. How will you decrypt it?
You know that cipher mechanism AES hyphen 128 hyphen CTR. If you know that, uh, the salt you have to know. You mean, right?
Correct. Salt is what your password. How will the others know the password?
Yeah.
You only know the password, right?
Right. Unless you share it with someone. If you
True.
share it with someone, you can decrypt it,
Yeah.
right?
Yes. If you share the cipher text and the in your password, they can easily decrypt it because this is a public
Okay.
function.
Right. Right.
AES-128 CTR is a public function.
Okay.
Yeah, guys, my transaction got confirmed, I guess.
Yeah, I also got confirmed. Thank you.
Yeah, would it automatically refresh or I have to refresh?
No, Srini, actually there you'll get for me, actually this thing
Oh,
is coming.
confirmed. I got the pop-up. Yeah, I just got it.
Great. So
Okay.
yeah, now we are able to send ethers to an account that we have created, right?
Okay.
Yeah. So guys, any questions for today? Because I'll be wrapping up.
So from here, from this account which I created, I have sent to the other one, which we
Mhm.
copied on. But how do I see the balance there in the other account we just created?
Yeah, so that's what here you have this now. Here, what is our address? This one. Go here, and here you can see in the blockchain explorer. 0.1.
Oh, into the details. Just go
Balance.
and do the
Go into
details. Okay.
details and check it. Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, guys. Thank you very much. I'll be sharing those comments with you people in a text file. You can go through it again.
Okay. Good.
So for today, I'll be wrapping it up.
Thank you, Harsha.
All right. Thank you, Rasha. Good one.
Hope
See
you
you.